Alrighty, everybody, welcome to the first episode of Game Chat. Game Chat is a new series idea that I've been throwing around in my head, and now I'm just gonna give it a shot. Essentially what it is, it's kind of a roundup of things that are pertaining to my interests that I want to talk about, whether it's in the news or whatever. And although the series is called Game Chat, and is primarily being a gaming channel, I have a lot of other interests like technology, cars, anime, movies, and nerdy, geeky shit. And this series can also serve as a place for me to talk about the channel or just content that I planned, and stuff like that. I don't want to make it like super restrictive what this series is going to be. It's pretty much just a place for me to talk about the stuff that I like talking about with you guys. So, episode 1 of Game Chat. Let's get into it. So if you've been coming to my streams for a little bit, you might know that I've been playing an absolute ton of Risk of Rain 2. It's one of my favorite games out right now to play. And I just recently figured out that that game is only made by 3 people, but they did just expand their production studio to 6 people now. And they laid out the roadmap for all the updates that are coming for Risk of Rain, so that's just something that I'm looking forward to. This isn't like super duper exciting news or surprising news. Obviously they're going to be updating the game, but now we have the roadmap with some free updates and actually a update that is going to be paid DLC. And if you want to go look into the real specifics of what that entitles, it's on their Steam page and as well as just on the Risk of Rain website. Oh boy. So Cyberpunk 2077 has just been an absolute shit show, even just after the game's release and after all these promises of trying to fix it. And they are really delivering on those, or at least it seems like it. They're trying to. But CD Projekt Red has actually been hacked. And this is a pretty substantial hack because it's to CD Projekt Red itself. Apparently these hackers have stole the game's source code for not only Cyberpunk but also The Witcher 3. And these hackers are auctioning this code out, as far as I'm aware, on the internet. And think what you want about Cyberpunk, and everybody who's upset about it after all the hype and the release, I get it. Even with that being said, I don't think anyone should ever wish this sort of thing upon the developers. I did see somewhere, I think it was on Twitter, that this might have been like an inside job, like some employees that stole some source code or something, but again, that was on Twitter, so who knows where that even sourced from. I don't necessarily know what this means for CD Projekt Red and for The Witcher and Cyberpunk, since that source code is out there. Maybe people can just get free copies of the game or something like that through this person who is trying to auction off the code or whatever. All around, it's a bad situation for CD Projekt Red, and I do hope that they find the people who are behind this hack and that they get it all settled, but it's just in the news, so I thought I'd talk about it. Okay, so this next thing is particularly exciting to me. Apparently Nintendo might be actually making the move to switch their multiplayer service system, which if you don't play Nintendo or you don't have a Switch and you don't play Switch games online, Nintendo servers are awful. And to make it worse, just like with Xbox and Sony, you have to pay yearly or monthly or however you want to go about it for their service. And the fact that they're charging you for this horrendous multiplayer service is just awful. So according to this article, the NEX multiplayer system is what they've been using, and it's been what's been in use since the Wii U and the 3DS, so it's an old system that they just haven't updated. And apparently they're going to be switching over to a new server system called NPLN. From what I'm aware, the reason that people caught on to this possible switch is because they were actually using these new NPLN servers for a beta of the new Monster Hunter game, and I guess that was kind of served as a beta test not only for Monster Hunter but also for these new server platforms. So fingers crossed, maybe Smash Online will actually be enjoyable. Or well, I to be honest, I enjoy the game, but maybe Smash Online will be fixed. If you play Smash Online, you already know what I mean by that. So fingers crossed. I don't know if this will be anytime soon or how far along they are making these servers, but I assume if they're using them for the beta of Monster Hunter Rise, then they would also be incorporated into Monster Hunter Rise whenever that game actually comes out. And the release of that is March 26th, so next month. So maybe we'll see it roll out into just Nintendo's platform as a whole in the coming month or so. Only time will tell. But again, fingers crossed for Smash Online. It's seeming like Google is finally giving up with its Stadia platform, and Google recently closed any of their first-party developers that they had making exclusive games for Stadia. So Stadia still does exist with some of the third-party games that are already on there that other developers are making. But as for games that they had in production that to be specifically made for the Stadia platform, they're gone. They're just not supporting them anymore, which is terrible because it's only been like a year since Google said we're going to give these developers a platform. And then they immediately cut off, and like, it's so dumb. It takes so long to make a decent video game, way longer than just a year. So I don't really know what Stadia or Google expected. But again, if you've been following Stadia, we've kind of been seeing this one coming. And I think it's sort of the first steps to Google just pretty much shutting down the entire thing and just using Stadia maybe for something else. Maybe they'll just sell peripherals, like gaming peripherals, because the Stadia controller and the hardware is actually, from what I've seen at least, pretty good, but just as a gaming platform it's just not going to hold up. So about 5 months ago, this game trailer pretty much just came out of nowhere called Black Myth Wukong, and it kind of caught the attention of a lot of people for a couple of reasons. One, it just looked amazing, not only visually, but as an action game, it just looked really cool. And it was from a developer that we had never heard of before out of, I believe, China. So it was this unknown foreign developer that just drops this trailer out of nowhere, and it's just visually stunning, and the gameplay actually looks, really fun and polished. It just looks like a solid experience that a lot of AAA developers just haven't really been delivering. So to just see this come out of nowhere from an unknown developer really caught a lot of eyes. And then recently, about a week ago, they actually released another official trailer, which was actually, I think it was to celebrate the Chinese New Year or something, or the Year of the Bull or something, I don't exactly know. But it once again has caught a lot of people's attention because of how good the game looks, and people at this point are really just trying to figure out if this is even an actual game or if this is just some sort of tech demo. Because again, we don't know who this developer is, but I'm definitely keeping my eyes on it. If it does end up coming out and being a solid game, I do want to play it. It looks very similar to things like God of War and that sort of style of action game, so I'm excited nonetheless. I don't want to get super hyped about it because, again, hype's let me down a number of times recently, but it's just something that I keep my eye on. Alrighty, so that's the first episode of Game Chat. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know how often I would do this. I would just kind of put out, I guess, on a list, like gather some things that I want to talk about and I've seen in gaming news and whatnot. Just put them up whenever. Maybe, probably not weekly, but maybe a bi-weekly sort of deal. I don't know. I don't want to put any constraints on it, but again, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you maybe think I should go more in depth with the things I talk about, or talk about maybe like 3 key points and then go really in depth, or keep it the same. Just any feedback helps, and any other ideas for series and things like that, games you want to see. Like, subscribe, yada yada. See you guys in the next one.